Most RPGs don't respect your time. They drown you in map icons, filler quests, and fake choices until the entire experience starts feeling like homework. These games are different. They grab you immediately, then refuse to let go. You sit down planning to play for 1 hour, and suddenly the sun is coming up outside your window. This game feels less like an RPG and more like surviving an unpredictable fantasy expedition. You're not safely fast-traveling between quests while the world politely waits for you. The journey itself is the game. A simple mission can spiral into complete chaos within seconds. You're walking through the forest at night, visibility collapsing around your party, when suddenly a massive griffin crashes into the road and turns the entire fight into a disaster movie. That unpredictability becomes addictive fast. Your companions constantly react to the world around you. They warn you about hidden caves, point out enemies before you notice them, and sometimes completely panic when things go wrong. It makes the party feel less like NPCs and more like exhausted travelers trying to survive beside you. Combat is messy in the best possible way. You climb giant monsters while they thrash around trying to throw you off cliffs. Magic attacks light entire battlefields on fire. Small fights suddenly become huge because random creatures can join mid-battle without warning. And the game never tries to protect you from bad decisions. Wander somewhere too dangerous and it doesn't scale enemies down to your level. It just crushes you instantly and expects you to learn from it. Standout detail: nighttime completely changes the mood of exploration. Roads that felt calm during daylight suddenly become tense survival runs where every sound in the darkness feels threatening. Verdict: if you miss RPGs that feel genuinely unpredictable instead of carefully scripted, this thing is almost impossible to stop playing. Most looter RPGs eventually start repeating themselves. This one avoids that by constantly surprising you. Entire areas, bosses, quests, and events can change between playthroughs, which means players can spend hours comparing discoveries because nobody sees exactly the same version of the game. That unpredictability becomes incredibly addictive. You're always chasing the possibility that the next area might contain a hidden boss, secret weapon, or completely different storyline. Combat feels aggressive and overwhelming in the best way possible. Enemies attack constantly, bosses flood arenas with projectiles, and fights demand full attention instead of lazy shooting. The game pushes you into this intense rhythm where survival depends on positioning, timing, and adapting quickly under pressure, and the build variety keeps experimentation interesting. You'll find weapons that completely change how fights feel, turning your character into anything from a long-range sniper to a chaotic close-range monster shredding enemies at point-blank range. Standout detail: some secrets are hidden so deeply that entire communities work together online just to figure out how to unlock them. Verdict: if you miss games that reward obsession, experimentation, and pure curiosity, Remnant II is an absolute rabbit hole. Somehow, this game made millions of people obsessed with virtual homework. And honestly, it works immediately. The second you arrive at Hogwarts, the game starts feeding you pure fantasy fulfillment non-stop. Moving staircases, secret rooms behind locked doors, ghosts wandering hallways at night while students whisper about things they probably shouldn't. The castle itself feels dangerously distracting. You'll head toward a mission marker and suddenly disappear for an hour because you found a hidden puzzle room or started chasing flying pages through the library. That's the real addiction here: curiosity. The world constantly rewards exploration with new spells, gear, side quests, and tiny discoveries that make the entire school feel alive instead of decorative. And outside the castle, the world opens up fast. You're flying over forests on broomsticks, fighting dark wizards in ruins, diving into underground caves, and slowly becoming far more dangerous than a normal student probably should be. Combat stays engaging because spells combo together constantly. You're freezing enemies, launching them into walls, pulling them closer, then detonating the entire fight with explosive magic before anyone can react. Standout detail: the room customization system becomes weirdly addictive because the game quietly lets you build your own version of a magical hideout. Verdict: if you've ever wanted to completely disappear into a fantasy world for dozens of hours, Hogwarts Legacy is incredibly hard to quit. This is what happens when an RPG removes the fantasy power trip entirely. You're not a dragon slayer. You're just a man trying to survive medieval chaos without embarrassing yourself. Even basic sword fights feel terrifying at first because combat is slow, physical, and exhausting. Panicking gets you killed fast. The immersion becomes addictive because every system reinforces realism. You need to eat, sleep, wash blood off your clothes. People react differently if you look filthy or dangerous. Progression feels incredible because incompetence is part of the experience. You genuinely feel yourself improving. At the start, even winning a simple fight feels messy and desperate. But hours later, you slowly realize you've stopped surviving battles by luck and started surviving because you actually learned how to fight properly. The world also feels grounded in a way most RPGs don't even attempt anymore. Villages feel lived in, forests feel isolated, travel feels dangerous because you never fully know what's waiting on the road ahead. Standout detail. Early in the game, a single drunk guy with a stick can genuinely ruin your entire day. Verdict: if you want an RPG where every victory feels earned instead of handed to you, this game becomes dangerously immersive. Some games look impressive in trailers and disappointing in gameplay. This is not one of them. Black Myth: Wukong feels almost absurdly cinematic the second it starts. Massive bosses tower over entire battlefields, while environments look like living paintings pulled straight out of mythology. And the game understands something really important: spectacle alone isn't enough. The combat actually feels satisfying. Every fight becomes this aggressive balance between precision, patience, and pure survival instinct. Enemies hit hard enough that panic immediately gets punished, but the movement stays fast and fluid enough to make victories feel stylish instead of exhausting. The progression loop becomes addictive because every new enemy feels unpredictable. Some fights feel elegant and controlled, others turn into complete visual chaos with explosions, transformations, and attacks filling the screen from every direction. And visually, the game constantly keeps escalating. New environments, new creatures, new abilities, it always feels like something larger is waiting around the corner. Standout detail: certain boss introductions feel so cinematic they barely look like gameplay anymore. Verdict: if you miss games that make every major fight feel like an event, Black Myth: Wukong is ridiculously hard to put down. At first glance, this just looks like another stylish sci-fi action game. Fast combat, cool character designs, robots exploding everywhere. Then the game slowly starts revealing how emotionally uncomfortable its world actually feels. You play as android soldiers trapped in a war that seems endless. Nobody fully understands why the conflict is still happening anymore, but everyone keeps fighting anyway because it's the only purpose they've ever known. The combat is instantly satisfying. Dodging attacks at the perfect moment feels smooth and aggressive. Weapons combo together beautifully, and fights move fast enough to keep every encounter intense. But what makes the game addictive is how constantly it changes. One moment, it's a fast-paced action RPG. Then suddenly, it becomes a bullet hell shooter, a side-scrolling platformer, or a top-down survival sequence without warning. The game refuses to stay predictable for long. And the deeper you go, the stranger the entire experience starts feeling. Even quiet moments feel oddly emotional because the atmosphere constantly carries this sense that something feels wrong. Standout detail: the soundtrack evolves during gameplay, which makes exploration and combat feel weirdly emotional instead of just exciting. Verdict: come for the combat. Stay for the existential crisis you absolutely did not sign up for. This game takes the Pinocchio story and turns it into a nightmare. A beautiful one, but still a nightmare. The city feels trapped between elegance and collapse. Streets are filled with murderous puppets, abandoned buildings, and enemies that move with this creepy mechanical aggression that makes every encounter feel dangerous immediately. And unlike a lot of Soulslikes, this game actually understands pacing. Combat feels fast, sharp, and incredibly satisfying once it clicks. Perfect guards reward precision, dodges demand timing, and every boss feels designed to pressure you into making mistakes. That tension becomes addictive fast. You lose a fight, get frustrated, try one more time. Then suddenly, 3 hours disappear because your brain refuses to quit until you win. The weapon system adds even more obsession because you can mix blades and handles together to create completely different fighting styles. So experimentation constantly becomes part of progression instead of just leveling stats. Standout detail: some bosses feel less like fights and more like violent rhythm games where one bad decision destroys everything. Verdict: if you love RPGs that turn frustration into obsession, Lies of P will absolutely consume your evenings.